First thing though you gotta do is sit down, you know what I'm saying, in silence and think to yourself, has what the fuck I've been learning all my life been true? Has what they've been telling me all my life been true? Did 9/11 really happen by terrorists? Once you sit down and honestly do that, you know what I'm saying, honestly think to yourself, you're gonna break the spell for you. You're gonna be like, what spell? Bitch, they've been brainwashing you this whole time. How they been brainwashing you? Trauma, repetition, and symbols. Think about it. Any old book, any testament, any religion you read, it's gonna tell you that this world is an illusion. You know what I'm saying? That's what the Matrix is. This is the Matrix. When you go to sleep, that's the real world. You know what I'm saying?
After police peer through the front door, they walk the perimeter of the property when suddenly, police say, an officer spots someone standing near a window.
Put your hands up! Show me your hands!
The medical examiner identified the woman who the officer shot as Jefferson.
Front. As you can see, a number of people in the station are confused and screaming. The officer then pulls out a weapon and shoots.
One person shot.
You can see an officer from Hamden Police Department arrive on scene, jump out of the car, and instantly unload a barrage of bullets. A Yale University officer shooting from the other side before sprinting away, not even taking the time to put his car in park. The crossfire hitting 22-year-old Stephanie Washington as she was sitting in that parked car.
Bleeding from the head and crying out.
I go to UVA! I go to UVA!
Raising serious questions about police brutality.
We live in a society where people don't mind being lied to and told what to think and how to think. It's worse if you're a minority in the United States. The great brother Malcolm X said in the 60s that one of our greatest enemies is the media and the reinforcements of people's conscious and unconscious bias. Once the black suspect shoots a cop, it doesn't matter the circumstance. All bets are off and their life is no longer valid. The media will intentionally give false information and make the suspect an evil human being. The battle is almost impossible to fight. White supremacy is supposed to always win because their policies are written to benefit white folk with minorities not in mind. Folk will assume Trey did something wrong because no cop has ever done anything wrong. It is extremely complex to fight against closed-minded individuals. The night of January 11th, Trey was left on the ground in rainy 40-degree weather far too long. The cop was cursing him out while Trey was pleading for help. Regardless of what you think, there was inhumane action done. No human should play God. Fight in the court system like Dylan Roof, Timothy McVeigh, or even James E. Holmes. What if I told you a study that shows black folk are 7 times more likely to be wrongfully convicted of murder than white folk? Immediately, some whites are rolling their eyes, looking to find stats that contradict this study. Here's where the problem lies.
He came out crying. He came out sucking his thumb, actually eating on his fingers, hungry. I was alone. I had a friend that I had just met, so I had him pretty much alone by myself. I'm already gonna be emotional.
Me and Tre'shun's relationship, growing up, we were always like, he was always under us, like trying to be under the big dogs, because we were always older than him. But growing up, he was just like always so silly, goofy. Like he was always just trying to tell us, like, he always thought he was older than me. So like, I'll be the one like, I'm about to do this. And he's like, no, you ain't doing this. All of my little cousins always think that, like, if I try to get a boyfriend or something like that, Tre'shun would be like, nope, you ain't getting no boyfriend. Nope, you ain't doing this. Like, all types of crazy stuff. But I feel like our relationship, like, as we got older, and I, like, joined the military and stuff like that, like, we still kept in contact. And even if we, like, whenever I came back, it was still, like, that closeness, like, we had. Like, it was still that, like, just silly, goofy, still telling me I can't have no man at the age of 25. Like, he was just, I feel like our relationship was just, we family.
And so something that he definitely taught me was just to be honest about everything. Don't let people overtake your actions and your emotions. You control your emotions is the main thing. So I think that's something that he left for everybody, and to educate yourselves on everything.
Me and Tre'shun shared a lot of views together. A lot of the knowledge that he had, I was kind of on that a few years ago, and I felt like a lot of people really didn't understand me, and a lot of people weren't trying to understand me. So when I was at that stage, I saw that's where Tre'shun was. So we had conversations, and he was deep with it. I was just trying to have him understand and channel his energy in a little different way so people would want to hear him. Because with new information, a lot of people really, they're so excited they want people to get it. And you can tell he had so much energy, so much excitement in learning something new, because he basically unlearned everything that was taught to him through the school system and taught to him through conditioning, through everything. And he relearned a lot of new information. And he was trying to tell people, and we had plenty of conversations about that. But most people don't really understand like the dynamics of the progression of Tre'shun.
He meant everything to me. Like, he was just one of those cool, smart kids, semi-geeky kid who knew everything.
He was like that shined all the time. He was always happy, you know, smiling. Just joy. He brought joy to me.
You had to handle him different from all the rest. I don't know if it's because he came from Germany or what, but he meant a lot. He meant love, discipline. He really wasn't bad. He just was sneaky in his own little way, but he just was my huggy bear.
Today, on November the 9th, we decided to come out to the site memorial that we have set up for Tre'shun. We wanted to come out and speak about the actual night Tre'shun was shot, January 11th, 2019. I think it's important that we provide a narrative that alters the Arlington Police Department. We wanted to be able to show what we feel happened based on evidence that we have acquired from the Tarrant County District Attorney. And at this site here is where Tre'shun actually was shot and where he landed, and was then taken 2 blocks from here to Arlington Memorial Hospital. In that incident, Tre'shun was a passenger in the vehicle, as police reports have stated. In that conversation, he was the advocate for all 4 of the passengers in that car. He had a very good understanding of what traffic stops and violations could take place and things that could happen, because he experienced them regularly with Arlington Police Department. And that's how the traffic stop began, with the officer actually running the license plate and reading from the license plate reader a prior traffic violation.
We were coming up to the light, finna make a left, and I was on my phone like the whole ride, but I don't usually always be on my phone when I'm in the car. But some told me to just look up and look behind you. So when I just rose up, I see a police car behind us, but they don't got on no lights, not even their headlights.
And I got in the left turn lane, and the cop pulled up behind me, and I turned my blinker on. We made the turn. I got in the right lane to turn, and he turned the lights on and pulled us over, and I pulled into the parking lot. And then he came up to the window, asked us some questions, asked for my ID and my insurance, didn't even look at the stuff really, just handed it back to me and started talking into his radio to get other people to pull up.
So some just told me like, go on live, cause something just might happen this time. So I go on my live and I'm just sitting there. I ain't saying nothing at first. Then the police officer comes to the window, and he was like, something like, have y'all ever been arrested in this car? And he was just asking like, what was the previous cases that they had and everything. So then he asked Jessica to take her keys out. Trey like, don't do that. She took them out. And then the officer snatched them from her. Then Trey was like, oh nah. So they was like, call your pops. He was like, and then she tried to call her daddy. I think he took her phone too. So then Trey was like, well, somebody make a call or something. But I'm still on live recording. I didn't want to like end my live just in case something had happened. So then Trey was like, can you call your supervisor or your chief or something? And the officer just started laughing. So once he finally got out, they told him to put his hands behind his back, and then he just pushed off the officer and took off running.
You know, the two lives took off after him. And they was running with their hands on their guns, and they yelled something, but that was on the other end of the parking lot, so I don't know exactly what they yelled. And Trey looked back, and in the middle of him looking back, the first live pulled his gun out. So Trey, pulled his out, and they just started shooting at each other. And the first live fell, you know what I'm saying? Trey tried to take off running again. That's when the live, I guess, hit him. Wherever he hit him at to make him fall, he kept shooting. After that, he just looked over him. The live that killed him said something to him and walked away from him and went back to the other officer. And they started putting cones around him like he was dead there. I never knew that he was alive still. When we left that night, I thought he died on scene. Cause when ambulance got there, they took the first officer, and then they took, you know what I'm saying, it was like 30, 45 minutes later, you know what I'm saying, after the shooting at Trey, the second ambulance came and picked him up.
I didn't see Trey move after that. He just kind of laid there. They put me in a cop car, came back a couple minutes later, got me out, put me in handcuffs, and put me back. They left me there for like 4 hours. They tried to talk to me that night, but I couldn't really say anything. Like, I hadn't even actually cried yet. Like, I couldn't physically cry. I was in shock. And then they said eventually around 2 in the morning, can somebody come pick you up? And I was like, no, like, everybody's asleep and y'all are taking my car. So, and my phone, so like, I don't have anywhere to go. Like, y'all just gonna have to drop me off at my parents' house. And they finally eventually took me home. I couldn't really see Trey from where I was in the car. I saw when they were putting him into the ambulance, but that was the last time I saw him. And I didn't know he was dead until I got home and somebody told me.
Officer Alex Quintanilla was chasing Tre'shun with his gun out. There's screenshot evidence of that, and then there's Assistant DA Tim Gillespie's statement acknowledging that Officer Quintanilla was chasing Tre'shun with his gun out. At the point Officer Quintanilla pulled his gun, Tre'shun was in the act of running away. By Officer Quintanilla pulling his gun out, he was in violation of the use of force policy and procedure for Arlington Police Department. So at the point Officer Quintanilla chased Tre'shun with his gun out, Tre'shun was in an active legal right to defend himself. And we believe that's what happened. We believe Officer Quintanilla chased Tre'shun with his gun out and shot himself. In return, Tre'shun defended himself. In return, Officer Austin Williams fired on Tre'shun. From the autopsy report, from the police report, Tre'shun was hit 5 times and succumbed to those injuries, not just on the shots themselves, but the lack of rendering aid.
There were 3 police officers around him, looking at him. He asked Jay Wilson, bro, help. I need help. Bro, help. I need help. Over and over and over for 12 minutes. They all walk away and go back into the Tom Thumb parking lot to render aid to someone, Quintanilla, with non-life-threatening injuries, while Tre'shun bled out with life-threatening injuries for 12 minutes. No aid was rendered to him. They asked for his name, but that's it. Everybody left. You can hear Trey yelling from over here to the Tom Thumb parking lot.
Shut the fuck up!
Ouch!
Yeah. Over some fucking weed? What is wrong with you?
fucking still. Shut the fuck up! I'm trying to help you.
He's in my chest, in my stomach. He's on me in the stomach. Why are you robbing me?
Why am I robbing you?
Yeah.
Get your fucking leg down. Hey, what are y'all on him? I need to secure the shit.
No, he's alive. The guy over there is alive. Okay. Hey, get your mag, get your cot. Get your cot. Alright. Just get your cot. The other guy's got a shot in the abdomen. Yeah, just cut that belt. Which is that one? Yeah, no, they're both still left. So okay. Well, we're taking him. Yep.
You telling me somebody is bleeding out on the ground and you gonna have them wait so you can cone and get evidence? No, that's inhumane. It shouldn't have happened. And I don't understand why aid wasn't rendered. Despite who it was, it could have been a civilian, me, myself. I'm at the bottom of the totem pole. Somebody falls out right now. My job, I took an oath to Texas to help them. So I'm not understanding why the EMTs, the police, the fire department, the firefighters that were there that did not attempt to help Trey, why they're still even on the force, why they even have a job. That's number one. It's an oath we take. Render aid. Aid was not given to him.
I had a teacher that had him 1 year, and she just started saying a lot of negative stuff about it, saying how he shouldn't have run away and how basically blaming him for his death. And my classmates, some of them felt like they disagreed with her about it. And she said, well, if he didn't have run, he wouldn't have got shot. And it was his fault for having a gun out. And her saying that kind of hurt me. It felt like if she didn't understand the whole situation, and for her to say that was kind of out of pocket of the whole entire situation. I told her that for her saying that was wrong and that she should try to have our perspective or being in Trey's shoes. She said that she wouldn't have ran, she would have listened. It's easier if you just comply with the police. But I told her, well, I wanted to tell her that you can't, being Black, you can't just comply with the police because you never know what's going to happen to you.
It's like when he preached, it brought light to people. Through dark storms, it could be the darkest cloud above you, and Trey bring light to it.
What Trey meant to me was he was my possibilities. You know, he kind of reminded me a lot of myself. So I kind of looked at him pretty much like in a sense of a younger me. So he kind of reminded me of all the things that, you know, I was on the way and on the verge of being.
That boy will go get anything that he wanted. If he wanted it, he was determined to go get it. And he will always tell me that when I didn't believe in myself, you know, I doubted myself a lot. He would just motivate me and tell me to go get it. And that was just his motto. He was a go-getter. He inspired me to go out and live out my dream and go try new places and experience, you know, different areas, and he's inspiring me in that way, and I'm going to continue to go off of what he told me, and yeah.
I don't know where all these shot.
844. 845. Okay, action now. Right now, I'm on my way to this emergency call.
I'm good. Yeah, just don't move.
I was gonna get some stomach tattoos, but I got some stomach.
Who shot you?
Police. I just got his attitude.
Oh, you shot the police?
Yeah.
a funny story is at 3 years old, we were living in Missouri at the time, and we were sitting at a counter. We would eat at a counter before I dropped him off at daycare, and I would go to a job that I had. And we were sitting at the counter, and women always loved his adorable. He was a very handsome child, and so women would always be drawn to him. And the woman asked him, "Say, young man, do you have a girlfriend?" And he was like, "No, but my mother does." That conversation tapped me into his intelligence and his comprehension level.
So every time Trey come over my house, he gets into my refrigerator. So on this particular day, he goes to my refrigerator. I'm sitting in the living room or dining room. Gets my milk out the door and puts it back. I heard a big old crack. Trey, did you break my thing? No, I didn't break it. Yes, the hell you did. It's a crack right there. No, I didn't. It was already there. Trey, it's a brand new refrigerator. You broke it. So he just kept swearing up and down. He didn't break it. And then another time he come over, think he could ride a hoverboard. So he gets on my daughter's hoverboard, just rolling around the house, darn near busted ass a couple times. One particular time, he tried to go around the corner. Took it too sharp. Crack. Trey, did you just run into my corner? No. Yes, you did. Like it's pulling up at the end now, like you cracked it, like it's missing a piece. I didn't do that. It was already there. I'm like, oh, Lord, why every time you come over my house, you tearing my house up? No, I don't. I'm just leaving myself here.
One day it was my cousin's graduation, and it was like the end of the graduation. Me and Trey was standing next to each other, and we started to play. And then I don't know who started it first, but somebody slapped. I think I slapped him first. He slapped me back, then I slapped him again. He slapped me back again. I slapped him harder, and he slapped me twice as hard, and then I started complaining, and we both got in trouble.
One night, it was me, Trey, and my other cousin William, and Trina, his mom. We was all laying down in my mom's basement, and Trina had told all of us to go to sleep. So me and my other cousin William, we kept playing with the TV remote, turning the TV on and off. And when Trina popped up and asked who was doing it, we blamed it on Trey. And Trina told Tre'shun, you better get up here right now before I pop them ass cheeks. And Tre'shun was so mad at us for lying on him, saying that it was him turning on the TV. And we was down there rolling on the floor. And he really got a spanking for it. And I feel bad, but it was funny because of the way she said it to him.
Sounds like a probably brief report. Can you call him back and see if he can come to the station to make that report? Sounds like a critical incident. We're going to have a lot of resources tied up.
So everybody's worried about the weapon, nobody's worried about me.
We got EMS coming to you.
Where's
So what happens
he
when you
at?
start shooting at people?
Why y'all send me up?
Have you taken any type of drug?
2019.
What drug have you taken?
Now I'm gonna.
Fucking bitch. Hey, help me, bro. Fuck.
Calm down.
I can't.
This documentary is to shed light and challenge the minds of how one thinks of the so-called government structure. The police, the city, the state are always protected. The invisible yet visible racist acts happen because of how you view the black man. He is lesser than. Imagine coming face to face with your killer to gather information to fight a case on your own. These so-called black civil rights attorneys only take a clear-cut, open and shut case. They are not seeking real justice. If they do, the retainer is $20,000. This is laughable. Who can afford that? The entire structure is designed to give you the illusion of fairness. People are taught to not give a fuck about your life because you are a shooter of an officer. I want to emphasize the inhumane acts that violated his right to live.
Eventually, Trey becomes non-ambulatory and nonverbal. At this point, that's when someone yells that they need a stretcher. They put Trey on the stretcher to load him up in the ambulance. Again, no aids rendered. Yeah, they put him on a stretcher. There was nothing to stabilize his blood pressure. There was nothing to stabilize his heart rate. There was nothing to stabilize the bleeding or even to try to clot the bleeding to get it to stop. From there, they take him, supposed to be to Medical City, but all of a sudden it changes upon, what's his name, Austin Williams. He don't want to go to the same hospital that Tre'shun was going to. So they send Tre'shun to Arlington Memorial, who is not equipped to deal with his injuries. They didn't even have abdominal binders, so they chose something that they felt was next best, which was bed sheets. No blood pressure medication was given to him. No pain medication was given to him. They were not equipped to even stop his bleeding. So then he was to be transported to Texas Harris. Once he gets to Texas Harris, basically it's too late because once they opened Tre'shun up, he passed away.
Being closed-minded or being stubborn about something is the best way to stay on that playing field, the worst playing field, the lowest playing field. If you can't honestly just sit down and be like, damn, what if I'm wrong? Then you'll never be able to wrap your head around this. Modern misconception is that you can research some shit on technology, on a computer, and then come up. They control fucking the technology, you dumb motherfuckers. You think they really gonna let you know what's going on? You gotta go find that shit in a book. Your subconscious mind is what tells you what's real and what's not. But you tell your subconscious mind what to generate. You know what I'm saying? That's why they take you as a child, put you in these classes and all these books and all this shit, so they can teach you what they want to teach you.
I raised him to hold people accountable, but to hold himself accountable as well. If you're going to say you're going to do something, then do it. If you're going to say you're going to be somewhere, then be somewhere. And that's who he was. He was a man. He was really a person of his word. He may have, lied. Not everybody's perfect. But if he stood for something, if he had values or goals, he stood for that. And that's who he was. He was never any different from anybody. He never treated anybody differently. You were going to get Tre'shun when you seen Tre'shun. He might, wake up with he acted like he had a period, but that was, I guess, adolescence. But he was the same person all the time.
Trey was like a second son. I called my son and Trey like Siamese twins. He was a source of inspiration. He was very strong-willed. So that pushed me to be a stronger example and resource for him. He taught me how you couldn't make the run-of-the-mill choices. Because I said so was never good enough for him. He demanded an explanation. And as an adult, when a child questions you, the first thing you want to do is just become angry or shut down and feel like you don't have to give them an explanation or you don't have to say anything to them. But he told me he deserves an explanation. He just made me better understand that I could have a better relationship with him and I could get further with him if I took the time to explain things to him. So that allowed me to carry that kind of communication and relationship into my own children, and it just helped me be a better mom and a better aunt.
Trey means something really undescribable. If I could put it in words, I'd say someone who would always listen to you and someone who you could trust telling anything to.
The legacy Trey left, he wanted you to know who you are and what you are and what energy you can bring out yourself and what you're capable of and he knew what he was. And I feel like the legacy, what I always remember and when he left on me is I will always be my full potential and always trying to bring that best energy out of me. And there's no limits for what we can do, what our mind can do, and what we're capable of. And I don't feel like you should stop after you reach somewhere. I feel you just keep on pushing, just keep on seeking the knowledge and seeking the best out of every situation. Not even like just whatever you're doing, seeking the best out of it.
Stay off your phone for me, please. Hang up the phone, please. Hang up the phone. Everybody stay off your phones, okay? Huh? If you can record me if you want to, but don't make any phone calls. I will let you know in a minute. Just y'all just sit tight. Don't put your hands anywhere, and I'll let you know what's going on in a minute, okay? I'll let you know in a minute, okay?
Can you get your general out here, please, Captain?
The general?
Yeah, your captain. There's
Okay.
a captain that's supposed to be out here.
No, we don't have captains. I can get a sergeant if you want one. Sure. 34 to a supervisor. Excuse me? No. Because I don't want anybody on their phones. I don't want anybody else showing up out here. It's an officer safety issue.
It's our safety that we're worried about.
Okay.
What makes me fear for my life most in an encounter with law enforcement happens before there is an encounter. Because just by me driving in a car and being spotted by a police officer makes me feel like the chase has already begun. I immediately start looking for somewhere to park into or to stop or to elude them because I just don't want that confrontation. Knowing that they have the power to determine my fate at any given moment. I already feel wrong. I already feel guilty. I already feel like they're right and I'm wrong. I really wish there's a way we could come to some kind of common grounds on both sides to deal with this issue.
Two phrases that we commonly hear when we encounter situations like this in our community and in our culture is one, it has nothing to do with race, and two, the officer involved feared for their life. But I want to offer something else to you. As a black man in the United States of America, in situations like these, we fear for our life as well. I often work evenings, so a lot of times I'm getting off work 10, 11 o'clock at night. And I'm driving around looking to find something to eat just so I can get to my house and enjoy the rest of my evening. I remember a night where I was heading home just 2 blocks down from my house, and there were 4 police officer cars just sitting around the area. It's very clear that they're looking for somebody. I see a police officer pull off to a parking lot. He pulls out into the turning lane and waits. I can tell that he's waiting on me to make a left-hand turn so he can get behind me. Now I know for a fact that I've done nothing wrong, but I'm terrified of this situation because I know for a fact that they probably have a very small description of who it is that they're looking for. And if this is one of those situations where the description is a young black man, mid-20s, guess who fits that description? Me. And it would be fine as if worst case scenario, I get a ticket for maybe a tail light that I didn't know was missing. But the reality of the matter is, as a young black man, the worst case scenario is not a ticket. The worst case scenario is not a night in jail. The worst case scenario is losing our life. We have the same fear that we may lose our life.
We were sitting at the house watching that of Mike Brown. We watched when George Zimmerman got off for killing Trayvon Martin. We seen that. He's seen those emotions that I took on, that Kiwana took on, and he's seen that as a young black man, that nothing happened after that. So that created who he was, because they don't care about who you are. They don't care that you're going to college. They don't care that this is just a one-time thing. So when it all started happening within that first 2 years of him the first 2 years before he died, it was a whirlwind for us as a family, because Tre'shun was not the person that was supposed to be going through this when it came to the dynamics of our family. He was the brightest. He was the most athletic. He was the charmer. He was good grades, excellent grades in school. School was never an issue for him. So to have him be on that end, it caused a pause for a lot of people in our family. And for me, me personally, it caused a pause, because that was me investing in basketball or modeling, because if you don't invest in that, you're going to be investing in a lawyer. That's the same. But that still happened. That still literally happened. So when we were trying to figure this all out and how the end was going to be, when was he going to turn around and come out of it, he ended up moving to California to live with his dad. And in that move, it elevated his life again, because that one night living with his dad, he said that his conviction weighed on him. All the things that he had done in his life had caught up to him, and he was convicted. And he opened the Bible and started reading the Bible. And in that reading the Bible, he had his first open conversation with God. That literally began that. But before that, we've always had intellectual conversations. It was never a dumbed down conversation. It's always, I'm pushing you to be the best you can be. And in those conversations, it changed me, because I'm still holding on to this law-abiding citizen mind frame that I've created and the jobs that I've had. And he's telling me that that structure of criminal justice system doesn't even exist. And I'm confused, because everything I've been taught and I know is being challenged by a child. But it's being challenged in a way that is sincere to him. And I can't be that parent that shuts down your child's dreams.
So I am Tre'shun's mother, Mama Q. Let's just say there was never a dull moment with him. When I first met him, we picked him up from his Aunt Wakita's house. And he got in the car. He didn't say nothing till he realized we wasn't going in a different direction to drop my ass off. So he asked Trina, so who is this and where's she going? She going home with us. He raised up out the seat, took a seatbelt off and said, so when were you going to tell me? Me, a 7-year-old? Fuck you mean when I'm going to tell you? I'm the adult. That's my head. So I kind of looked at her in my head. I was like, maybe I need to tell her, because she got some disciplining to do with this little boy. Well, months went by. It's out of his comfort zone, because now you have chores, you have a bedtime. He didn't have no bedtime, things like that. It's kind of, he was a gifted child. So as far as homework and things like that, there was none of that ever. I've been in the picture 12 years and I've never seen him bring homework home. Still to this day, in gifted classes. So that was an issue, but I was like, he don't got no chores, he ain't got no bedtime. No, you on bed at 9:30. So it was a lot. So he didn't like me at first. He didn't understand what I was trying to do. We butted heads a lot. No, you can't do this. No, it should be this way. And Trina's trying to be the middle person, but eventually she took herself out and was like, y'all gonna have to figure this out. I love you both. It's between y'all. So our love-hate relationship eventually turned into strictly love. I got sick one day, really sick, and Trina couldn't be off. So Trey chose to stay home and take care of me. To this day, on Fridays, I hate Fridays because I would come home. And as soon as I came home, whatever I needed, he knew my routine. Come home, take the scrubs off, throw them in the washer, put some other clothes on, go get me a black, go get me a 40 ounce. He had friends that were 21. he started doing it. If it was dark, didn't matter what day it was, I didn't leave the house without him. Even to go around the corner to the gas station, he did it. He cleaned my car. Whatever I needed, he did it. He made me better. I changed my whole life for a child that I didn't even have. Trina had him, but she had him for me. That was my child. Schoolwork, going to school for nursing. He studied with me, quizzed me, you name it. Me changing my life wasn't for me. I was good living the thug life. But I feel like this is my fault because I explain my life experiences to my nieces, nephews, cousins, not to boast. I sold dope, I pimped, I did this. It was so you didn't do it. He took what game I was given or life experiences and he ran with that shit. He ran with it. So me now, I don't want to tell my nephew my life experiences because you might take it and run with it. That was not my intentions. Speaking to him, I'm sorry. Anytime he was hurt, anytime he was sick, he called me. He didn't call Trina. And the one time I wasn't there. Stop the bleeding. Tell him it's gonna be okay. To tell him I love him. The one time. And I watched him get dressed. I left. I came back. I went to leave again. He was talking about which shoe to wear. Asked my nephew which shoe he should wear. Usually I'll be like, where you going? Or I didn't say anything because I was going somewhere myself. So he getting ready, I'm getting ready. We bumping into each other back and forth in and out the bathrooms. He left. Literally, the time I left the house is the time Trey got shot. Me and my nephew. Literally. I don't get it. I won't get it because they took everything that I had. Again, she had them, but she had them for me. My whole world has came tumbling down. I have no purpose. Only purpose I can think of now is the rest of these kids. But I got to find me and my strength. I heard a lot of people say they see strength. That's a lot because I don't feel like I have it. Some days I come in, I'm good. Some days I come in, I break down. It's not easy. And the lies, whether he shot or not, good. Good. I wish he would have killed him. If he shot, because I've yet to see it. Yeah, he carried guns, and who the fuck are you to say he can't? Who the fuck are you to say he can't run from you because you the fucking police? That's your occupation. That's it. You ain't God. So who the fuck are you to say when my son is to go? So I'm a firm believer in the Old Testament on this one. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. I won't rest until my child gets justice. Period.
January 9th, we had a conversation with Tre'shun. He came home. He came home with a gun on his hip. Tre'shun was not a felon. Tre'shun was not someone who could not be in possession of a gun lawfully in Texas. There's only two type of people that cannot lawfully possess
a gun. That is someone with a DV history and a felon. He did not reach those, so he could have a gun. But I know he couldn't have a gun. I knew that the Arlington Police Department knew who he was. And the fact, and not even the Arlington Police Department, but a young black man in legal possession of a gun, there's no such thing. There's no such thing. That is a young black man with a additional weapon, because his skin color is his weapon first off. But to have an automatic weapon in the hands of a black male, even if it's legal, you're shooting first and asking questions. So when he walked in the house with that gun, I automatically knew. I knew then. It hit me then. And I said that you're a target. You're a target. You can't walk around with that gun like that. And he said, I know I'm a target. I've been a target. Having this gun did not make him a target. He knew already that him being a man, being black, was already enough. He already knew. The words, how he said that the target was already on his back. The conviction in his voice, the frustration. Those were the last conversations that I had with him. January 9th was about a fucking gun. And it took me 2 days to talk to him. For 2 days, I didn't talk to him because I was just trying to figure out what I could do as his mother to save him. Instead of just taking him in my arms and holding and telling him that I loved him. So on Friday, when I got the knock on the door and I asked who it was, and he said he was the Arlington Police Department. I knew my life was over. I knew the life that I had before was never going to be the same. Going to the hospital. Because I knew two things were going to happen. He was either going to be in jail for the rest of his life. I was not going to be able to see him again. I knew I was not going to be able to touch him. I knew I was not going to be able to have any interaction with him if he was involved in an officer shooting. It was just, things were just not going to play out the way I wanted them to. So I had a conversation, and I said then that if it was his time to go, if he was not going to be with me anymore, just give me the strength to find out what happened. Just keep me going. Just hold me and protect me.
Q and Trina, I have a unexpressible, if that's a word, amount of respect for y'all because of what you've endured and how you only long to plant strength in other people. Make sure that other people are not feeling any pain. When I compare it to if it were me, I would probably be like, fuck the world, fuck how you feel. I don't care if you happy. I don't know how y'all do it. And angry that y'all have to do it.
Trina and Q, just know that I love y'all, and I will always be here. I just want y'all to stay strong. You two are so strong right now. Like, your only child is gone, but his spirit is still with us. And I just want you to keep striving, keep pushing. Don't let no one ever try to break you down. You might have your days, but just know I'm always here. Y'all know y'all can always call me. Just stay strong. And we're all the family. We all got y'all, for real.
They were my encouragement. Because to see them pull through the way they pulled through, because I didn't know how.
I first want to say thank you to Trina and Kiwana. Thank you for being strong. Thank you for being human, expressing your feelings, searching for a positive outlet. I would say to you guys just to keep it up, keep doing what you're doing. Dig deeper, fight harder, go farther. Just keep being a beacon of light for all of us.
To my daughters, I love y'all. You're pushing forward, you're doing a good deed, and he's working through y'all. Keep doing what you're doing, because justice will prevail. Love you.
So I want y'all to continue to be strong, continue to love on each other, and continue to fight. I know Trey is looking down on y'all, and he is happy as ever with y'all. So just keep up the good work.
If Trey was listening right now, I would probably tell him I'm sorry first for just not being there for him like I should have.
Thank you for being here for me. Thank you for providing for me. Thank you for helping me learn how to keep my head up when people bringing you down. Basically, just thank you.
Trey, if he was here right now, I would say I love him and I miss him. And I would say that I wish that he was never gone. I would say that that if he was here, then I would have said I love him and I wish he never left me, because he meant the world to me and I love him so much.
I would say I love you. I miss you, Trey, and I wish you would be here. I love you, Trey.
If I had anything to say to Trey, I would say I love him.
Thank you for everything that he taught me. So.
You blossomed into who you were supposed to be, no matter what they tried to say. Just know I love you.
I just want you to know that I love you, dude. Like, I really, really do. I miss you so much. And no, I still ain't got no man. Because, you know, Dylan's still here. And, you know, Dylan and Kaden and all of the other ones still be on my head about it. But, dude, I promise you, I am trying my best to make myself happy, find my purpose, and all that, like, what you used to talk about. And just know that we as a family gonna keep pushing.
Surround yourself with people that love you, and just stick with just have positive people around you, and just do what you love, and whatever that may be. You know, that's pretty much it. Oh, and I tell him, get on the sticks, get mad, get that work.
You was more intelligent than 60-year-olds, 50-year-olds that I've known. You had a good head on your shoulders. Your heart was the purest heart I've ever seen. And I just want to say that I miss you. And I wish you were still here.
Just chill, like that he still has purpose in this world and that he has a story to tell, and that may require a sacrifice of self at times, but to understand that we need you.
But the one thing I want to say, and the one reason why we're producing this story is because people need to know that the narratives that are being given about these shootings are not the truth. And truth is objective. Truth is not attached to your feelings. You may see these emotions and these tears, but the truth is the truth, and it's going to stand on its own regardless of who's telling you what the truth is. Because the truth is just what it is. And as people and as a society, we have to get to the truth of what's really going on. And that's who Tre'shun was. Tre'shun was truth. Unadulterated, pull back the scab. This is what it is. And what happened that night and our journey in this fight is to get the truth out.
And I say they because it's all of anybody in high position of power. You can't get in a high position of power in America and not be on their team or not be a sellout. You know what I'm saying? And I say they because they know what they are. They're cold-blooded. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about. You gotta stop being scared. You gotta stop walking around and putting power in other places instead of yourself. Power is in you. You are God. When you go out and start praising other shit and doing other shit, giving your power away, they become strong.